Zendaya is a name that immediately brings to mind either Chani or playing with double in Challengers. But behind this young talented actress lies a life filled with humiliation and racism at every turn. A host very badly criticized her in 2015 Oscar. For her skin color, a shopkeeper refused to sell her, and yet he made humanity his greatest weapon. This is the story of Zendaya, a young girl who was not broken by racism, but made even stronger by it. So let's start. Alright, so before the red carpets, before Marvel, before the Emmy wins, Zendaya was just a quiet little girl growing up in Oakland. And honestly, you probably wouldn't have even noticed her in a room. She was that shy. She was born on September 1st, 1996, right in the middle of a city that feels alive with culture and noise and history. Oakland is one of those places that shapes you even if you don't realize it, and it shaped her early. Her parents, two teachers, Claire and Kazembe, and when I say teachers, I don't just mean professionally. They raised her like teachers too, full of lessons, grounding, and remember who you are energy. Her dad brought the strength of Black history and identity. Her mom brought creativity and calm, and the mix became her foundation. Now, here's the part most people don't realize. Zendaya grew up incredibly shy, like painfully shy. The kind of kid who hides behind their parents' leg when someone says hello. She was so reserved, she actually repeated kindergarten because she wasn't talking or opening up enough socially. Imagine Zendaya, the woman who can command a room without saying a word, barely speaking as a kid. Her parents didn't panic. They didn't push her to be louder. They actually went to seminars to understand her better. That right there tells you a lot about why she ended up so grounded later in life. So picture this. Little Zendaya, 6 years old, walking into Fruitvale Elementary, the same school where her mom taught, and one day her class puts on a little play for Black History Month. Nothing massive, nothing glamorous, just a tiny school performance. But something changes. The shy kid who never spoke suddenly lights up on stage, not because she wanted attention, but because the stage made her feel safe, seen, free. That moment was the spark. No agents, no cameras, no Disney Channel. Just a little girl realizing, oh, this is a space where I don't have to hide. And that's where it all really started. Not with fame, but with belonging. Because before Zendaya became Zendaya, she was just Daya, the quiet kid, figuring out that maybe her voice was bigger than her fear. After that tiny school play lit something in her, Zendaya didn't suddenly turn into this big performer overnight, but the door was cracked open, and little by little, she started walking through it. By the time she was 8, she joined a local hip-hop dance troupe called Future Shock Oakland. And this wasn't some cute kids bopping around on stage thing. These kids worked, drills, rehearsals, real choreography. For 3 years, Zendaya's confidence wasn't being built by applause, it was being built through discipline. And she wasn't just dancing, she was absorbing culture. She even studied hula dancing at the Academy of Hawaiian Arts, a style rooted in storytelling through movement. It's funny to look back on now because so much of Zendaya's career is about communication without shouting. She learned early how to speak with presence, not volume. But the real turning point came every summer, almost by accident. Her mom worked at the California's Shakespeare Theater, managing the house, and Zendaya would come with her. At first, she was just helping out, selling tickets, seating people, doing the around the theater chores. But while everyone else saw a job, Zendaya was watching. She watched people transform on stage. She watched how stories could pull strangers into a different world. She watched what emotion looked like from 20 rows back. And quietly, without telling anyone, she fell in love with acting. There was no big epiphany, no dramatic moment, just a girl soaking in Shakespeare under the California sky thinking, I want to do that. So her parents enrolled her in the Oakland School of the Arts, and that's where things really started moving. She wasn't background anymore. She started getting lead roles. She played Little Timon in Once on This Island, and even stepped into male roles when needed. And this is wild. She was only 11 when a critic called her performance a pure delight. But here's the part people miss about her journey. She wasn't born fearless. She was slowly becoming brave. Her family eventually looked at her potential and said, all right, if we're doing this, we're doing it for real. So in 7th grade, they packed up and moved to Los Angeles. And this wasn't some glamorous Hollywood move. Her mom stayed behind in Oakland, working 2 jobs so Zendaya and her dad could afford to chase this dream. Teaching in the day, theater job at night, all to keep one kid's spark alive. That's not just support, that's sacrifice. Zendaya has said before, quote, I always had this fear of failing. I wouldn't even try things, but I had to overcome that to build the life I have now, unquote. That's the part of her story people don't see. Before the fame, before the stylists and premieres, there was fear and a family choosing courage anyway. She wasn't in Hollywood to get famous. She was there to become who she already knew she could be. And she was on the edge of the opportunity that would change her life forever. So now we're in LA. Small apartment, big dream, huge sacrifice, and Zendaya starts auditioning. And let me tell you, the early days, they were not glamorous. We're talking long drives, waiting rooms, rejection, repeat. But every no was sharpening her for the one yes that mattered. Her first real jobs weren't even acting. She started with modeling gigs, Macy's, Old Navy, Mervyn's, you name it. She was getting in front of the camera long before she ever had lines. And here's a fun detail people always forget. She even popped up in an iCarly Toys commercial. And danced behind Selena Gomez in a Sears ad. Like literally background dancing behind the girl who would later become another Disney icon. Full circle energy. Then in 2009, boom, she appears in a Kids Bop music video for Hot and Cold. Not singing, just vibing in the video. But hey, it was a check and it was screen time. Then comes the audition. Disney is working on a brand new show called Dance Dance Chicago. Zendaya goes in, she auditions, and what does she choose to sing? Michael Jackson's Leave Me Alone. And not in a safe way, in a bold way, like in I'm not just here to blend in way. She doesn't get the role she originally auditioned for. She gets something better. They hand her Rocky Blue, one of the leads in the show that would later be renamed Shake It Up. And when that show premiered in 2010, it pulled 6.2 million viewers, the second biggest premiere in Disney Channel history. Think about that. One day she's modeling and hoping someone notices her, and the next she's the face of a hit Disney show blasting into living rooms all across the country. But here's what makes Zendaya different from most people who get that level of fame that fast. She didn't let the hype swallow her identity. She was still a kid, still shy off camera, still figuring herself out, but she took the opportunity seriously. She worked and audiences loved her. The charm wasn't forced. The confidence wasn't manufactured. She wasn't trying to be the loudest person on screen. She was just real, and people felt it. Overnight, she became a Disney star, but not a manufactured one, not a carbon copy of the Disney girl template. She was Zendaya, the Oakland kid with rhythm, heart, and a work ethic built before the cameras ever showed up. And Shake It Up was only the beginning, because the world thought they were watching a new teen star rise, but what they were actually watching was a young powerhouse learning how to build a career while still just a kid. So now Zendaya is officially a Disney name. Posters in malls, kids copying her outfits, everyone wanting to dance like Rocky Blue. But here's the interesting thing. She never let Disney define her. Most young stars, they ride the wave. Zendaya, she studied the wave. While she was filming Shake It Up, she didn't just stay in her lane. She started dropping music. Little singles at first, like Swag It Out and Watch Me. Basically letting the world know, hey, I can do more than act. And guess what? Kids were eating it up. She wasn't boxed in. Then Disney gave her another platform. She co-hosted Make Your Mark, the Disney dance competition show. And remember, this girl came from a real dance troupe. So this wasn't just a hosting gig. It was her stepping into her performer identity. By 16, she's in Disney Channel movies, signing with Hollywood Records, releasing a debut album, and then she joins Dancing with the Stars. And not just joins, becomes the youngest contestant ever on the show at the time. And she crushed it. Not like, oh, she did cute for a Disney kid. No, she and Val Tremaki went all the way to second place, beating out celebrities twice her age with twice the experience. That's when people started whispering, oh, she's not just a Disney kid. She's actually talented. But the big shift, the career-defining shift, came when Disney offered her another show. Originally, it was called Super Awesome Katie, and Zendaya was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't just show up and read the script. She said, change the title, change the character. And if I'm doing this, the family is going to be black. At 16, who else is negotiating representation with a billion-dollar company as a teenager? Her changes turned Super Awesome Katie into Casey Undercover. And not only did she star in it, she became a producer at 16 years old on Disney. That's not being famous. That's taking ownership. That's when Hollywood started realizing, oh wait, she's not just a face, she's a force. And through all of this, still no scandals, no messy headlines, no Hollywood meltdown, just grace, focus, and a family keeping her grounded. This is where Zendaya separates from so many former child stars, because while everyone else was chasing fame, she was building leverage. And trust me, she was about to use it. So by this point, Zendaya is respected, successful, and very carefully building her identity on her own terms. But then comes the moment every young black woman in Hollywood eventually faces. People try to shrink her, and she does the exact opposite. Let's start with the 2015 Oscars. She shows up wearing the this gorgeous white dress and long, beautiful dreadlocks. She looks elegant, powerful herself. And what happens? A TV host makes a joke that her hair probably smelled of patchouli oil or weed. Translation, they tried to stereotype her on national TV. Most 18-year-olds would freeze, panic, or apologize just to stay likable. Zendaya, she gathered herself with a level of grace most grown adults don't have. And then she responded, not with a rant, not with yelling, with intention. She posted a statement explaining how comments like that feed racist stereotypes about black hair. And she did it in a way that educated, not attacked. That moment didn't just clap back, it shifted the conversation. People realized, oh, she's not just polished, she's fearless. And it wasn't the only time. There was also the moment she posted on Snapchat about being racially profiled in a grocery store, trying to buy $400 gift cards and getting treated like she couldn't afford them. Her wallet was shoved back at her. She wasn't yelling celebrity privilege. She was pointing out a truth millions of people experience. Then, when her casting as MJ in Spider-Man was announced, cue the internet outrage that Mary Jane isn't supposed to be black. Zendaya didn't shrink. She didn't apologize for being chosen. She simply said, I don't know what America you live in, but the world I see every day is diverse. And that's what should be reflected on screen. She didn't beg for permission to belong. She claimed space. That's when people started seeing her not just as a star, but as a voice. Not loud, not aggressive, not performative, just powerful. Because here's the core of Zendaya's impact. She doesn't raise her volume to be heard. She raises the standard. And those moments, those pushback moments, they revealed something big. The girl who used to be terrified of trying had grown into a young woman unafraid to stand up. And she was about to take that strength into the biggest leap of her career yet. Alright, this is the moment where Zendaya stops being the talented Disney grad and becomes something way deeper. The moment she looks Hollywood in the face and says, I'm not here to be safe, I'm here to be real. Enter Euphoria. When the casting news dropped, people were like, Zendaya, the Disney girl, playing a drug-addicted teenager? There were doubters, a lot of them. But this is the part everyone forgets. She knew this role could blow up her whole public image, and she chose it anyway. She wasn't running from her Disney past. She was outgrowing it publicly, on purpose. Rue isn't polished. She isn't glamorous. She isn't tidy or likable or easy. She is raw, messy, vulnerable in a way most actors wouldn't dare touch. And Zendaya didn't just act the role, she inhabited it. She built Rue from the inside out. The slumped posture, the flat voice when she's numb, the frantic panic when she spirals. None of that is performing. That's craft. And then, boom, awards start coming in. Critics suddenly shift tone. Hollywood stops calling her a promising young actress and starts calling her a once-in-a-generation performer. In 2020, she becomes the youngest woman ever to win the Emmy for lead actress in a drama, and she won it again in 2022. Two-time Emmy winner before 27. But here's what makes it even more powerful. She didn't take the role to be shocking. She took it because she understood it. She knew what it meant to be the girl people look right past, the girl struggling quietly. She said yes to Euphoria because she had something human to bring to the table. Not Disney kid tries edgy role. No, this was personal. And this is exact the moment the switch flips. She's not a child star. She's not a teen icon. She's not just a blockbuster face. She is now officially an artist in control of her narrative. And from here on out, everything she does carries a different weight because Zendaya didn't just succeed. She arrived. So now Zendaya not just winning awards, she's shaping culture. And this is where people start to realize, oh wait, she's not famous. She's influential. Because here's the thing most Hollywood success stories gloss over. Plenty of actors become popular. Very few become symbols. And Zendaya, she becomes both. Enter the fashion renaissance. Remember when people used to call her cute Disney star? Yeah, that era is done. Zendaya steps onto the red carpet like it's her stage. The Met Gala, movie premieres, Fashion Week, she's not wearing outfits, she's making statements. One day she's old Hollywood glamour, next day she's futuristic armor, then she'll go up in something that plays with gender, power, black history, or storytelling through clothing. Fashion critics start saying something you don't hear often. They say she doesn't follow trends, she sets them. And she's doing it while staying true to herself, not chasing shock value or controversy. A huge part of this shift happens when she teams up with celebrity stylist Law Roach, not just as client and stylist, but as creative partners. The two of them are basically unstoppable. They don't just dress her, they craft moments like the Joan of Arc look or the Cinderella glass carriage dress or the Mugler robotic masterpiece. Those weren't outfits, they were declarations. Zendaya is playing in a different league now, and here's what makes her growth so powerful. She doesn't separate her success from her identity. When she shows up with braids on a red carpet, that's not just a hairstyle, that's a statement of pride. When she pushes for inclusive casting or diverse crews, that's not PR, that's lived experience. Hollywood didn't give her a lane, she built one. And by this point, people stop asking, can she transition from child star to real actress? No, the question flips to, what can't she do? She's a 2-time Emmy winner, a global style icon, a voice for representation, and still only in her 20s. This is the chapter where Zendaya levels up from talent to cultural force. From a shy little girl in Oakland who barely spoke in class to one of Hollywood's most respected, outspoken, and influential women, Zendaya didn't just follow a dream, she built one. She proved you don't need to shout to be powerful. Sometimes quiet confidence can change the world. And the best part, Zendaya's story is just getting started. So what's your favorite Zendaya moment? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more stories like this.